All right, so you wanted to go on a deep dive into Two Girls, One Cup, huh?
Yeah, this one is a wild one. I mean, even without getting into specifics, you can definitely see why this thing went viral back in 2007. It's just so shocking. So we're going to try to unpack why it spread so fast, what sparked its viral spread, I guess you could say. And to help me with that, we've got our expert in all things internet culture and viral trends. Welcome to the show. So what made this video so captivating, even though it was so controversial?
Well, it's fascinating to think about the timing of it. This video didn't just appear out of nowhere. 2007 was a really interesting time in internet history. Social media was just starting to take off, and the ways we shared and consumed content were a lot different back then.
Yeah, you sent over some info from the website where the video was originally posted.
Yeah.
It says it was added 2,481 days ago and has over 472,000 views. Like, that's a lot of people watching a video that's almost 7 years old. So how did Two Girls, One Cup become so huge in that very different online landscape? Well, back then, there was no algorithm. There was no algorithm pushing it out to the masses. It spread primarily through word of mouth, online forums, and those early social networks. But it still managed to capture the attention of millions of people.
Wow. So, no algorithms, but it still went viral. Why? What made this video stand out?
Well, Two Girls, One Cup really tapped into a few key elements that drive viral content even today. First, there's the shock value. It pushed boundaries and elicited some really intense reactions. Some people were disgusted, others were morbidly curious, and some people even found humor in it. It was as dark as it was.
Yeah, I was reading through the comments that you sent over from the website. You can see that full spectrum of reactions. We've got everything from Stewie was right, this is disgusting, to someone calling it an infinite food glitch. And then there's even that ridiculous human centipede movie has more class than this. It's kind of hilarious how people react to this kind of stuff.
Right. And that range of reactions is exactly what fueled the fire. It became a conversation starter, a source of memes, and even inspired parodies. It was like the water cooler talk of the internet, but on a global scale.
And this was way before we were all using the word meme like we do now. This really shows how the internet was becoming a place where people wanted to connect over shared experiences, even if those experiences were, well, kind of gross.
Absolutely. Two Girls, One Cup became a meme. Before we even really used that term, people were sharing it, remixing it, using it as shorthand for anything shocking or disgusting.
Yeah.
It was one of the early examples of how the internet could create these shared cultural experiences.
And we can't forget the title itself. Two Girls, One Cup. It's a mystery wrapped in an enigma, like clickbait before clickbait was even a thing. You can't help but be curious about what it could possibly mean.
Yeah, that curiosity is another key element. The title, combined with all the rumors and whispers spreading online, created a sense of forbidden knowledge.
Yeah.
People were drawn in because they had to see what all the fuss was about, whether they were prepared for it or not.
It's like a digital train wreck. You know you should look away, but you can't help but stare. That probably had a lot to do with it spreading so quickly, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that brings us to the third element, social sharing and discussion. The more people talked about it, the more it spread. People wanted to share their reactions, debate its merits, and even use it as a test of someone's tolerance for the extreme.
Like it became a cultural touchstone, a benchmark for shocking content online. But this kind of infamy wasn't the same as traditional fame, was it? I mean, it's not like these women were getting invited to talk shows or anything. So did the internet really change fame, or did it just create a new kind of notoriety?
That's a great point. I think it did both.
Yeah.
Two Girls, One Cup showed that anyone could become known worldwide almost overnight without needing traditional media. That was definitely a new kind of fame. But you're right, it was often a very negative kind of fame, a notoriety that could be hard to escape.
Yeah. So even though the internet was still in its early days, it was already changing how we thought about fame and attention.
Right. And, looking at this website you sent over, Two Girls, One Cup, definitely wasn't an isolated incident. I mean, some of these titles, jerking cock with sandpaper, blowing bubbles with pussy farts, and my personal favorite, Southern girl masturbating in cow shit. It really paints a picture of just how much extreme content was out there,
Yeah.
especially in those early days of the internet.
It's wild to think about how much the internet has changed even since 2007. I mean, back then it felt like something had to be truly shocking to go viral. But today, with algorithms and all that stuff, things go viral for all sorts of reasons, some of them totally manufactured.
Yeah, that's a really crucial point. I mean, the definition of viral has definitely evolved.
Yeah.
In 2007, it was more of this chaotic, unpredictable thing. Now it's often driven by influencer marketing or knowing how to work the algorithms.
So in a way, Two Girls, One Cup represents a totally different era of the internet. a time when virality felt more organic, I guess.
Exactly. It offers a glimpse into early internet culture and how society reacted to this explosion of access to information and content.
It makes you wonder if something like Two Girls, One Cup could even go viral today. I mean, would it just get lost in the endless sea of content, or would it still have the same shocking impact?
That's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's hard to say for sure. I mean, the internet is so fragmented now with different communities and echo chambers. What might go viral in one corner of the internet could be completely unknown in another.
Plus, we're so bombarded with shocking stuff all the time now. Like, what was extreme in 2007 might seem pretty tame by today's standards. It's like our tolerance for that kind of content has evolved.
Right. Our threshold for shock has definitely shifted.
Right.
But I do think there's still potential for something to emerge that captures that same kind of collective attention. It might not be as visually shocking as Two Girls, One Cup, but it could tap into a different kind of visceral reaction.
Yeah.
Maybe a deep-seated fear or a shared sense of outrage.
Oh, like playing on something that really resonates with people on an emotional level.
Exactly. Think about how quickly misinformation spreads online. It often plays on people's anxieties and fears. That kind of content can be just as powerful, even if it's not visually shocking in the same way that Two Girls, One Cup was.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about how this video went viral, but why this video? I mean, we talked about the shock value and the curiosity, but was there something else, something specific to the content itself that contributed to its spread?
That's a good question. It's hard to know for sure. But some people think Two Girls, One Cup tapped into this sort of primal disgust, a reaction that went beyond cultural boundaries. It was something that was hard to ignore, hard to shake off.
Yeah, I can see that. It definitely left a lasting impression. Even today, people still reference it, and not always in a positive light.
Yeah, it's true. It's become shorthand for extreme content, a warning to proceed with caution.
And that's something that's still relevant today, right? I mean, think about
Right.
platforms like YouTube and Facebook trying to moderate content. It's this constant struggle to find a balance between free speech and protecting users from harmful stuff.
Absolutely. It's a debate that's probably going to continue for a long time. But Two Girls, One Cup reminds us that even in the early days of the internet, people were already grappling with these complex issues.
Yeah, it's crazy to think something from 2007 is still so relevant to these ongoing debates. It really highlights how some things about the internet never change, even as technology evolves.
Right. The technology changes, but human nature, the way we connect and react to things, it stays pretty consistent.
So what does all this mean? What can we learn from exploring Two Girls, One Cup and its legacy?
I think the key takeaway is that the internet is always evolving. What goes viral, how it spreads, the impact it has, it's all in constant flux. Two Girls, One Cup shows us how even the most shocking content can reflect bigger societal trends and anxieties.
Yeah, it's a reminder that shock value and social sharing are powerful forces online. And it pushes us to think about the darker side of the internet, the potential for extreme content to spread like wildfire and the challenges of trying to manage it all.
And it makes you think about like the role we all play in this too, right? Like as content creators and consumers. Oh, absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
every time we share a meme, post a comment, or even just click on a video, we're contributing to the digital landscape. Our choices have an impact, and it's important to be mindful of that.
Yeah, for sure. And this idea of shock value as entertainment, it's something we still see all the time today, right? Like think about some of the latest viral videos that you've seen. Chances are a lot of them are about pushing boundaries in some way.
That's true. And it raises some interesting questions, like what captures our attention in the digital age? How has the internet changed since 2007? And how have those changes affected the things we consume and share online?
Yeah, good questions. So as we wrap up this deep dive into Two Girls, One Cup and its legacy, what's the one thing you want our listener to take away from all of this?
Well, while Two Girls, One Cup might be remembered for its shock value and the extremes it pushed, I think it's important to remember the context. It reflects the early internet, a time when online culture was still evolving. But it also raises questions that are still relevant today about how we navigate the internet, how we consume and share content, and what we consider acceptable in this constantly shifting digital landscape.
That's a great point. So while Two Girls, One Cup may be infamous for its shock value, it's clearly much more than just a controversial video. It offers a fascinating glimpse into the evolution of the internet and our relationship with the digital world. Well, thanks for going on this wild ride with us as we explored the history of Two Girls, One Cup. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and stay curious.